What's going on, everybody? We're back again with another episode of Walk on Moose Recruit Reaction Series. This time, we're taking a little step over, a little west of me, over in Georgia, that little school in Georgia, in Athens, and with me comes Max Toscano. Max, what's going on, man? Welcome onto the show.
Yeah, happy to be here, man. You do really cool stuff on here. It's cool to get into the high school, ranks. 'Cause I've just been spending so much time on the draft right now that I'm watching like the older college guys that are all like 21, 22, and you go back, especially with the tight end position, and you go back and see just the different body types that these kids are in at 16, 17, and just realize how far they come in that short period of time. Like there's so much growth from
Oh,
high
it's
school.
insane.
It's
Like the,
crazy.
the, the number one tight end, I think, is what, 215 pounds, six foot
Yeah,
five.
yeah, yeah.
And he's not, and Tyler Warren is what, 6'5", 245, 250. I mean, it's insane the amount of growth they have. So I appreciate you taking a step down from athletic build type to come down and go check out some of these high school guys that are going to be some new names, new faces in this world of college football. So Max, if y'all want to check his stuff out, he's got Remember the Tight End that he writes on YouTube. He's got Max Toscano FB. Am I pronouncing your last name right?
Yep, you're nailing it.
Okay, cool. I'm not very Italian, so I can't get the Italian names always right. And then Twitter at Max Toscano 1. So please go hit him up. He does a lot of good work with especially tight ends, breaking down their film, going into it. I love the bit you did on Harold Perkins, the thread you did on that. That was very insightful on how they've moved him around so much at LSU, and it's kind of hurt his career. I mean, you look at him as a freshman, who he was looked like he was going to be one of the best players in college football. Kind of gets hurt his second year, and then they're moving him again. So they're going back and forth. Reminds me of The Office. Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Yeah, right,
Anyway,
exactly.
y'all should check that out. He does some great stuff. And Max, did you do some work for UConn for the Huskies?
Yeah, I did. I did an internship there out of college just to actually get my feet wet and do real football stuff because I stopped playing when I was like 12 years old. I'm not particularly athletic or well coordinated physically. So that door shut itself when all the other kids started growing up, which was definitely a tough break for me because I sort of didn't. But yeah, I've always loved the game. I've always kept my love for the game. I've researched it from afar, and I really wanted to kind of get that hands-on experience, even for just a season. Um, before I either decide to go into coaching or which maybe I'll do a little bit later in life when I kind of don't mind having no free time. But it's I just wanted to get some hands-on experience. So I'm from Connecticut. Program's pretty accessible. And so I was able to get in there and really sit in with especially with the defensive staff, do some analytics work as well. Really kind of just get a sense for how a program runs, what practices are like, what the week-to-week schedule is like, what game planning is like, how it's all organized. Just sort of what the recipes are and what goes on in the kitchen, so to speak, before the dish is served on Saturdays. So that was a really cool experience. It's such an unbelievable building. I was able to be there for year one of the Mora era, which is when this new culture was being set, and just
Yeah.
the ability to watch a program get brought from the lowest to the low, the most dysfunctional it could possibly be, with a bunch of kids who were really scared to feel that permission to believe not just in themselves but in what they could do together because they had just been burned for so long, um, and to just build something out of nothing but pure belief, with no proof of concept ahead of time, right? Just diving in and believing it to believe it, to believe in it, was really something that taught me a lot about not just the game, but the types of people that make this game go, what it takes from coaches down to equipment staff down to to video, to everybody just going in there and choosing to do this super hard thing together. It was really
Yeah.
cool, and so that was a really cool experience for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Jim Mora is a very well renowned coach in this league. So I mean, that's really cool to be able to get that experience with him. Um, so let's jump into this. Elyiss Williams. going to Georgia. All right, big time tight end, 6'7", I believe. Big old guy. He played tight end and wide receiver in high school. Looks like he's going to be playing tight end for Georgia, the Bulldogs. Max, with you being a tight end guy, what do you look for in a tight end when you're looking at a prospect, whether it be coming out of college, going to the NFL, coming out of high school? So what are we looking at?
Yeah, I mean, going from college to the league is different because you are looking for the body to be way more finished. But with these high school guys, like you're routinely seeing, your 220s, 230s. For him, like specifically, he's 6'7". He's probably about 230 to 240, which is just nowhere near maxed out. Now, if he were going to the NFL, I'd be crossing him off lists for that. But he's 17, 18 years old, and you kind of see how the frame gets maxed out. So it's a little harder because you don't know how they're going to move in a bigger, in a bigger, bulkier frame. You can imagine they're going to move mostly the same just because it's not even close to maxed out. So I'm not really looking for the frame to be done. And I'm not even necessarily having the same high standard for size, right? Because it's, the college game's just a little smaller. But, tight end is really, it's just kind of the ultimate offensive position. You're a mix of an offensive lineman and a wide receiver, and you got to do everything in between. You got to run block, you got to pass protect, you got to understand the legitimate details of route running. You've got to do all of it at a super high level. That's more than when receivers block. You got to block more than receivers block, and you obviously got to catch more than offensive linemen catch. So you kind of got to really be PhDs in your offense, and the techniques that go into doing different things on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm really looking for, just starting with the blocking, depending on how good you are as a receiver, I'm at least looking for you to be passable in line. I need you to be able to handle the defensive ends, because like if you can't block on the line of scrimmage, there's nothing setting you apart from a wide receiver, because those guys, especially you look at modern slot receivers, these guys are in tight, digging out support. They're digging out safeties. They're digging out nickels. They're climbing the linebackers. And so if there's nothing setting you apart from a wide receiver, a lot of offense,
you're giving away what you're doing. You're telling everybody, hey, we're passing the ball.
Right. So if I put you at, if I put you on the line of scrimmage so that you can get the matchups on linebackers and safeties that you need to function as a tight end, because you're 99 times out of 100, especially in college, these guys are not going to be as good of receivers as the receivers, right? There are only like a couple of tight ends in the NFL at a given time that are able to truly play even a modified true wide receiver role.
Right.
So you're not going to find it, and you can't really expect it. So I'm asking you to be passable in line so that you can not limit the run game. And so that those matchups that you get in that position are real, and aren't forcing me to make these giant sacrifices elsewhere. So at least passable. And if you're the worst receiver you are, the better I need you to be in line. But the things that go into that, I think, are just generally your size and your frame. I always say that tight end blocking is a function of three things. It's size, strength, and attention. You need the minimum size and strength just to handle these guys physically, but from there it's all about how much time you spend mastering the technique, because you can always tell what coaching staffs emphasize tight end blocking and which ones think these guys are just receivers, and you can tell it in their technique. Definitely more at the NFL level than the college level, just because it gets developed late. But I'm looking for that, right? I'm looking for size, strength, and then it's up to the coaching staff to deliver the attention. But the technique that I think goes into that are your hand placement, your lower body weight distribution. So your weight's got to be behind you so that you can drive. Your hands have to be in a good position so that you can control defenders. And as far as route running goes, the minimum I'm really looking for is just smoothness. I need you to be smooth in and out of breaks. I don't necessarily need you to be out there running, these whip routes and change of direction stuff that receivers
you don't want to look
are
out
doing.
of place.
Right. I need you to be smooth in the seams. I need you to have a great feel for space in the underneath zones. and I need you to kind of be able to work that space in the middle of the field and work on those linebackers and safeties.
And I think that's key. That last part with working the space. I don't think a lot of people realize a lot of routes from a tight end's perspective are option routes per se, where you're not necessarily just running 5 yards to a landmark and turning around. You're getting body leverage on the linebacker. If the linebacker's inside, obviously you're going to break outside. And if the linebacker's outside, you're going to break inside. To give the quarterback the ability to have a frame to throw to. I mean, if you're running in the same direction as the linebacker is, you're shrinking that window. Whereas if you go the other way, you have a bigger window for that quarterback to throw. So I just wanted to add that in there because that is a very underlooked skill that a lot of tight ends don't have.
Yeah, I mean that's Travis Kelce's superpower, right? Like they'll the way I always imagine Travis Kelce's routes being drawn are just a straight line to a certain point and then just a dot and then just blank space where you can just kind of do whatever he wants. Like you'll see so often where the designed route will be like a 15-yard corner and he'll just like stop, turn around because like he sees that, corner on the outside zoning off to deep third. He knows he's going to cut him off. He sees the hook defender or the curl flat defender widening underneath and the hook defender staying on the inside, and he knows he's got that void there. He'll just stop. Yeah. Like if you have that feel for space,
makes sense that he's dating Taylor Swift because isn't one of her good songs "Blank Space." That's what he's. That's what he's great at.
It does. Blank space. So true. Like I have a friend who's a big Taylor Swift fan who doesn't know anything about football, and when
Travis, it's a friend, Max. Are you sure it's a friend? It's not you.
It's kind of it's not me because I know stuff about football. That's the difference.
Yeah.
No, I like some of her earlier stuff. I'm not a huge like modern pop music guy, but like I love like that. I love like that late 2000s, early 2010s, like sort of pop rock stuff she did a little bit. But like, so I explained it to her by saying like, it's just. He just finds like it's just he finds blank space. Just listen to that song. It's just kind of you'll get it.
He's the mastermind of backyard football, and that's what what helps Patrick Mahomes tick. And we talk about I see you've mentioned some yak on there too, but one thing I wanted to hit in terms of not just route running, but like if you want to be a well polished receiver and on the other side of it, so we talk about the blocking. I'll talk from the receiver perspective. I want to see you catch the ball away from your body. So a lot of times with tight ends, if you're spending too much time blocking or you're not spending as much time as receivers are with your hands, you're not as polished with your hands. And the hands and your feet are probably the most important appendages in football because your feet, your quickness of your feet, the direction of your feet, the angles of your feet, the power of your hands, where you place your hands, all that is so important in football. And even when it comes to catching the football. A lot of guys like to catch in their body. They like to catch their chest. But I don't know if you realize it, but football players wear pads. And if football hits the pads, it's very likely to bounce off. It's harder to catch it. You're creating a recoil. Whereas if you have strong enough hands and you've got good hand placement, if my hands are wide, it's harder to catch. If my hands are tight, I'm going to be able to catch that ball. If I have the soft hands, I can grip it when it comes in. So I really want to see him catch the ball away from his body. I don't want to see this. Hey, he might have a great All-American quarterback who just puts the ball on the money every single time, but he's not perfect. There's a reason that good quarterbacks only complete 65% of their passes. It's because sometimes they're not throwing a good ball. You got to bail him out. So I want to see him catch the ball away from his body, and then to go into the routes too. If you're doing a little rub route or if you're running a play action, I want to see you sell the block. I want to see the defense fall for that because you're crashing down that defensive end into his shoulder, then you're pushing off and rolling out to do a little quick flare. So anyway, wanted to make sure I mentioned those two before we moved on to your next trait that you look for.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of reiterate a few of the things you said, like these guys need to be the quarterback's best friend. Like they always talk about this on broadcast. It's one of the old head football announcer cliches is that like the tight end's quarterback's best friend,
the safety blanket,
especially on third downs. It's the safety valve, and it's so true. And you have to be able to not just feel that space and present a target to him, but you need to be able to adjust to his even slightly bad balls, and you need to be able to come down with stuff that's a little bit behind you, that's a little bit low, that's a little bit up. And you need to be able to do that naturally. So if you're not catching with your body, like especially at a position that is not going to create as much separation as a receiver and relies more on that catch radius, if you're reducing that catch radius, you're doing yourself no favors.
That's right. And the walk-on trait, the last one, we always have a walk-on trait for the new people here. The walk-on trait is, what do you do that's a little bit extra? Walk-ons have to do a little bit extra, get some playing time to earn their spot on the depth chart. So what do you do that's a little extra? With tight ends, are you blocking? Do I see some pancakes on your highlight film? Am I going to see some trucking some defensive backs, some linebackers, running people over instead of being finesse? Are you playing some special teams? Do you play a little bit of defense? I want to see some effort plays. I want to see you drag somebody. So do a little bit of extra to be that walk-on. And another thing I want to talk about Elyiss Williams that gets lost in this NIL transfer portal flip and commitment world. Max, do you know when Elyiss Williams committed to Georgia as a 2025?
Oh, did he do it like forever ago?
He did it in 2023. He did it in, I believe it was August of 2023. Let me double check and make sure I'm getting this right. He committed in April 8th of 2023. Never flipped.
Yeah,
never flipped. Awesome. So I already like him. I like that about him. I like the fact that he knew where he wanted to go. He wasn't getting swayed by other things. He was just going to freaking Georgia. And good on Georgia for being loyal to him. It doesn't always work both ways that way. But Max, I know we like to talk ball. Let's watch the tape.
Let's do it.
All right. Can you see?
Oh, yeah. All good.
Let's get going. All right. He's already lined up out wide, Max. He's already lined up out wide. I bet they're throwing the ball. Let's see. I like that they do that. Some people like me, it's hard for us to see. All right. When you're 6'7", just throw the ball up. Catches in traffic.
Yeah.
I like the body control.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Go for it. Like the first thing I noticed, like, he's getting bracketed, and that quarterback is not looking anywhere else, right? Like they have a designated double on him. I mean, the corner, if the safety's inside like that, the corner, I don't know if the corner is wrong or the safety's wrong, but like one of them is supposed to be low and outside, the other is supposed to be high and inside. The corner's low and inside, and the safety's high and inside, keeps that boundary open there. Quarterback, makes a nice throw to the back shoulder, but it kind of goes back to your point earlier, right? Like he's able to go adjust to that thing, contort his body, and then go be friendly to the quarterback in that tight spot.
Right. And I'm looking over here. It's 2nd and 23. So they know the ball's going to him. They're going to throw the fader out to the 6'7" guy. They double team him, like you said, but he has to be honest on the inside. He has to be honest to him on the inside, because I think what they're doing on the defense is they're saying, I would rather get beat by a great throw by the quarterback on this small window than let him cut across the middle and make a big play and potentially score.
That's true.
So the quarterback drops the ball in the bucket, but he underthrows him a little bit, and the dude just makes a play.
Yeah, he's just, you got to get it it's like a black hole, right? Like you get it within that little event horizon, and it's just going to get sucked in.
And my offensive coordinator back in high school used to say, perfect offense beats perfect defense. That was pretty damn good defense, and sometimes you just get beat. So I like this. He's got a little sniffer position. They call it the sniffer position because he's over there sniffing this dude's butt, for being transparent. So anything can happen out of here.
He's just so tall, dude. It's crazy. Like he really is every bit of 6'7".
I like that route. It's a little ugly, but I like what he's doing here. So it looks like he's trying to show like he's blocking. You see, kind of breaks down.
Yeah, he's on that arc release. Yeah.
Yep. Play action here. All right. The ref, go and give him some popcorn, give him a ticket. He's watching the game because this offensive lineman is 94 yards down the field. But if it's only a flag if they throw it, right?
That's true.
Great catch. Hey, what did I say not 5 minutes ago what I want to look for in catching? Look where his arms are when he catches the ball.
Couldn't be further away.
Full extension. He bails this dude out. And I don't know how much people know about going across the middle. This is a rib shot. This safety could kill him right here, and probably could in the college ranks. But no fear, catches it, gets himself down to protect himself. Great
Yeah,
play.
like I was about to say that once I saw him like get down, like his ability to actually avoid contact there. It's such an art form, and it's just, it's not like no tight end is going to be good or bad because he's got a unique skill to avoid contact. But what it does show me is that he's got such good awareness of what's around him, and reaction to it, which is translatable in other areas. Now you look at that, you go back to that route a little bit, like just that exact, like the path on this, on this whip isn't going to be taught, but it does show you the kind of smoothness he has in the feet. And it's just a translatable athletic skill, even if the route's not going to be run like that.
Right. He doesn't look like a baby giraffe. He looks smooth with his feet. Now, I would like for this to be tighter, and that can be worked on. It's a little wide, which makes it takes a little bit longer. If he's tight here, bang, bang, he gets out faster, and maybe he even gets some yak on that. But like you said, body awareness. The first two plays we see just tremendous body awareness from this guy.
It's what you want for 6'7", because like if he doesn't have that height means nothing. He's not coming down with anything.
All right, we're back in the slot. They put him out pretty wide.
Yeah, right. Like you can
doesn't look like he has safety help
too. No, that's not a great.
That's the matchup they're looking for. They got a nickel or a linebacker on him. He's 6'7". They're going to throw it up. He's fast enough. Go make the play.
Yeah.
Again, look where his hands are when he catches the ball. I like that. I like that a lot. He's not a body catcher. That means he can play receiver.
I love that. I love that subtle late, not shove, but that little late arm extension to separate. You look at Jamar Chase when he separates late in the play. It's like that's how he's doing it, and that's why like Joe Burrow will throw him the ball dating back to college. Like when Jamar Chase is even late in the route, he will throw the ball because he knows he's going to be able to get that late separation with that little bit of extension, and you see that there. Like it's just a good detail in the route, especially for a guy who's so big. Like I think Georgia loves him, probably, I imagine, to be somebody like Darnell Washington. Who is obviously just, a transformer of a human being. He's gigantic. He's strong. He didn't do a ton as a receiver at Georgia, but what he did do was use that height well in the seams. The difference to me between this guy and Washington is that he's smaller. He'll never get up to that. Darnell Washington, let's be honest. Like he's 285, 290, maybe 300 at this point. And so like this kid's going to have a little bit more flexibility in the hips. He's going to have a little bit more agility. So the ability to do wide receivers type stuff at the catch point like that, even if he ends up in that huge body, is going to translate well in the seams on linebackers and safeties a little bit better than I think Washington potentially could have done.
When you're going up against guys who can run too, you're playing in high school. Some of these guys can't run. So we got him out wide again. I want to see some more routes. I mean, I've seen the whip route. This is only the fourth play, but we know you're tall. Throw it up. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, keep it away.
Little ballerina tiptoe right there. Body awareness again. Cool. Balance at 6'7". Balance is usually not someone's strong suit. I'm 6'6". Trust me. I like how it's subtle. We talk about the subtleness. It's subtle. He brings them outside and then comes right back in. And that's just enough to get him to be able to beat him. So if you watch this route, right about the 20, he comes out and in.
Yep.
And that gives him the extra little space.
On that little inside stem there. Yeah, it's so good. And the details for a guy who's I don't want to say he's not going to be asked to handle these kind of details, because he is, but like he's not going to have to shoulder the same level of route detail that the wide receivers are going to. So just having that even now in his bag at such a young age as a wide receiver, which he's doing a lot here, is really impressive. And I think again is going to translate well to what his role in college is going to be, because he's not going to be out there running isolated backside digs as the X. He's going to be on the line a lot. They're going to get him probably up to like 260. And he's going to be stretching the seams. He's going to be, heading up and over on play action from attached to the line. He's going to be working on sails. He's going to be working, on that second and third level on those more sort of straight line smoothness kind of routes. And you really see the skill that will translate to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we got him here again. Another wide receiver formation. Looks like it's third down. We got this guy playing press.
Oh,
Guys,
he's
if you
dead.
know this dude's going to Georgia, so he said he's going to Georgia in 2023. If I'm a defense coordinator, I'm never leaving my guy on the island. So either I have stupid confidence in this guy's great, or there's somebody over here who's also phenomenal.
Yeah, or somebody blew a call,
or somebody blew a call, and that's what I think just happened here. You done screwed up. They tried to press him, or hey, maybe they think he's got no butt. He's 235. He's a little bit of a beanpole. Maybe they think they can get up there, get up under his pads, and he's not going to be able to get off the ball. But that's not the case.
It's so great on the shallow too. To get that kind of vertical displacement, like run into the, not try to necessarily just avoid because a lot of times when you're trying to beat press, even if you're huge, you're trying to disengage and get into that guy's hip pocket, get him out of phase and get positioning. But when you're trying to create that cushion for the shallow like this, just going right into his chest, pushing him 2 yards off the ball, and then having the change of direction to flip the hips and get onto the path, that's legit.
And two things I noticed too, Max. I like what you're saying there. Two things I noticed. His first step, he doesn't chop. He steps right into him. He attacks.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like you were saying, you panic. It's third down. I need to get here. He's pressed, and I'm trying to get to this landmark as fast as I can.
Exactly.
He doesn't panic. He doesn't cut the route short to get there. He presses him up, gets to his landmark, and now he's created separation because he got the guy off balance. And now
he knows he's got to be off the line quick. Right. And now you can't bring him down without going low. You gotta chop him down like a tree.
All right, finds the space. And look, another thing I like about this is I think this guy's coach must be pretty good. You see all this open space. A lot of times as a young guy, you'll get excited and you'll drift this route and you'll keep coming up. Watch him break down. He knows his route. He stops and he shuffles. Guys, It's not all about making the big shot. Sometimes catching it right there is all you need. Boom, get upfield.
Yeah, and look at that.
He's not slow.
Right back. No, he's not. I mean, he's not wide receiver fast, obviously, but when you get him into that 260 and he's moving like that on linebackers in the seam, they're not going to be able to match him.
Now, earlier we saw on a third down, this looks like second down, but earlier we saw on a third down, they played tight press. Now they're giving him a 45 freaking yard cushion. But there's also another thing that's the same. No help.
Yeah, no help.
Oh, okay. Looks like he's going to shade over there.
I mean, based on
what are you doing? This shallow.
Going to do anything.
Yeah, you're way too shallow.
Yeah, I think they're trying to play two. I think they're trying to play a two invert there, and there's just no vertical threat for him to cap in the middle. So he's kind of like I don't know how. I obviously don't know how they teach it, but yeah, he's supposed to rob that, and he's just late.
Yeah. So he's bailing to come out here and take that safety spot. The safety's going to come up here and take the flat, is what it looks like. He never comes.
Those first steps are just they're just straight down. He's just waiting to see what happens, and he needs to look at that. Those first two wasted steps. He could be, he has to be on the hash there at that point, and if he is, he probably picks that off.
Oh, absolutely.
But he's just late.
Oh, all right. They take the stop
acceleration.
I like that. He's like he's going to block. He has to honor it. 21 has to honor it.
Yeah, because if he doesn't, that guy's going to throw you into the ninth row.
That's right.
He's terrified. Boom. He's thinking about not getting buried right now, and he's just blowing by him.
That play has been set up before. That they had already run that play before, I'd have to assume.
Yeah, and that corner got shoved into the bench.
Yeah, no, that was a business decision right here. 21 knew that he was going. They were going to throw it, but he's like, I'm just going to run this dude and say I was trying to make a tackle. Watch this.
Yeah.
Let me just get out of there. He's going to bail.
Those first two steps though, I keep coming back to the seams because that's just going to be so much of what he does at Georgia. He's got such great transferable skill for it because that acceleration on that first step. And of course the length to go up and get a ball in the seam is so important because you got to put it above those linebackers.
Yeah.
So it's just
look, he's fully extended and he's jumping. So, I mean,
yeah, he's 15 feet in the air. He's crazy.
Maybe a little wild on that quarterback. Maybe give him a little bit more accurate ball so he can land on his feet.
No, it's good for the video. He needs it.
That's true. And it counts as a stat for the quarterback too. That counts as a completion, no matter what it looks like. All right, where's our man? Oh, there he is. Yes, you can tell. I don't understand what this play was.
Was he catching the ball?
Was he supposed to be blocking and it's just we can't see it?
Oh yeah, wait, is he a tackle? No, he's not a tackle. There's no way. Right? No,
he's blocking out here. I don't know. Maybe that play wasn't supposed to be on there. He's way down here.
I think that might be he's he's not going to Georgia for video editing, so it's okay. Yeah,
good stiff arm. That's some good yak. He's got good ball carrier vision. I mean,
like again, he's too long and straight liney to do the your Colson Loveland foot fire, change of direction, choice route stuff, but like man, like getting that guy on benders and seams and sails, and like he's legitimately like kind of fast. Like you know what he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of like a slower Kyle Pitts just as a receiver.
I mean, he's built the same way.
He's gonna have to get, if he wants to have an NFL career that's not like Kyle Pitts's, he's gonna have to get to 260, but like instead of staying at like that 245 that Pitts was at. But it's you can easily see him getting up to there and then doing absolutely. A lot of that stuff in the middle.
Great balance, great body control. Yeah, he's a strider. He's definitely a strider. He's not fast, but his
40s. Like I think for a guy when he gets up to like 260, don't be surprised if he runs like in the 4.7s. Like
yeah,
he's big, but he's like his straight line speed's good. He'll translate well to the 40.
He's got a good frame. 3rd and short.
He just killed. Yeah, he just shut that guy. He's so smooth. He's so like. Again, It's just gonna look when he's in that 260, like 255, 260 frame. It's just gonna look so much more tight endy, but that smoothness is gonna translate.
I love that route. That was perfect time with the smoothness. Look at this route. I mean, this guy's working up the fade, working up the outside. He's gonna come right up under it. Boom.
He's not too. If he's too far out there, you give the cornerback a chance to run through that rub, but he just like gets right in that guy's back pocket.
We got some blocking, Max. We got some blocking. All right, look at this.
To bring up your point about walk-on traits, guys that put blocking on their highlight film, it's just because like it shows me you care about it. There are a lot of these guys that don't have it on their film.
I know. I love it. Well, they probably don't want to put it there. They probably don't have anything to put on there.
True.
But look at this. They got him in a little bit of a wing. This defensive end, he ain't in a wide 9. He's in a wide 69. I mean, good gracious, he is off. I mean, look at this gap.
That's crazy. That's
drive. Again,
yeah, now his first step gets him. This will get him into trouble when defenders are when on-ball defenders are actually on the ball. This guy's like in the defensive backfield and on the sideline for some reason. But like that first step up, that defender is right in your chest and lifting you. So you've got to go down.
And he didn't take a step. He takes a false step, it looks like. It looks like this foot just comes up and down, which is a waste. And you're saying, I love that you noticed that. Max, you talk technique like you've been playing ball forever. This is great.
You watch enough blocks, you realize that the same things just keep happening. And you just realize
footwork.
What they are.
And like I don't want to sit here and pick on this dude a lot. I mean, he's going to get better at it. Obviously, he cares about it. He can do it. But the first step is important, and he'll get better at that. The second thing,
I'm not worried about it at all. Like they'll teach. He's never needed to learn how to do any of this stuff because like when he touches these guys, like watch what happens here. He gets the job done. So the raw materials with his size and frame are what you need. All you got to do is I talk about college to NFL tight ends being underdeveloped as blockers coming into the league, coming from high school to college. It's just like he's never even really had to learn how to do it yet. So it's not like it's certainly not an inherent flaw in his game. Like if he has the raw materials, I'm not worried about the blocking, and he has got the raw materials, especially when he gets to that real weight.
Yeah,
like look at him. Like look at him.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I just like when he actually gets into the defender, and I think part of what screws him up here is the defender's positioning. He's like because like he doesn't know how to time this properly because of how like how
can tell that when he hops. He
ridiculous
hops to it.
right.
But
He's
that now is my other point. Look how he's standing straight up. But like you said, he's got the raw material. He's strong enough. He's got to double team a little bit. And then he drives his feet. And I think that's the big part. You can tell he's strong because these feet, once he gets onto them, don't stop moving.
Right. You know what I love too? Like it's, like I said earlier, it's size, strength, and attention. The big part of the attention part is how much pride you take in it, how seriously you take it, like what you get out of it, like mentally as a football player. And this dude he's a finisher. Like he's got that attitude. He's got that edge, which like, look at that. He lies on top of him at the end. Like that's something I really want to see. And like you get earlier in the block here, once you get that forklift, like once you get the hands right to either the armpits or right in the sides of the chest there, and you can forklift. That's what I like to see. That dude's forklift certified.
And I like how strong his hands are. I like that. I'm gonna steal that from you, Max. Forklift certified.
Oh, dude, I've got a whole. I'm trying to start a hashtag for it.
I love it. I'm gonna help you out with that because I love that a lot. Forklift certified. Look how strong his hands are too. I mean, this dude's fighting for his life to get him off of him, and he doesn't let go.
This
good thing wearing white gloves.
Like, his hand measurement at the combines probably could be ridiculous. It's like a bear paw.
All right, another block. I love that. Okay. Offensive lineman, this is more important when you're blocking out in space, but it's very important for anybody. When you're stalk blocking, when you're blocking someone with this much space between you, it's chop your feet. Don't get a narrow base. Get your feet out wide and keep them moving. You don't want your feet stuck in the mud, and you don't want your feet narrow. This is
you don't want to get over leverage.
Perfectly executed. Hands are ready to engage. He's on his toes a little bit. I don't know if I like that a lot, but other than that, I mean, he's chopping his feet. Engage.
Yeah.
And then drives him.
And then he finishes.
And that's the raw material.
He almost gets a fight with that kid, which I like because that means he finished and he dominated that kid in a way he did not like.
Yep. And the only way they can get back at him is to sneak him after that. But he didn't realize that guy was going to keep coming for him. I love it.
That is a finish. This kid's going to be like, especially at Georgia, who teaches this stuff really well. Like just watching. Even now, this kid's going to be an elite blocker. He's when he gets up to weight and he gets a little bit of development, he's not going to be good. He's going to be like elite
when he gets the technique. Because here's another one, same position, looks like the same team. It's another bad step to get inside. Look, I mean,
you got that insert. You got that insert too, so you got to time that. That's just kind of weird.
His first step is this foot turning right, and then this back. I mean, he's hop skipping, which is a timing thing, but. I want to see him step laterally and then step up rather than hop. Because when you hop, you're setting yourself up to be bad technique on contact. And contact, we don't want, especially 6'7" guys. Guys, trust me, I know. You don't want to be standing straight up because this chin, you ever heard of chin music?
Yeah.
He's going to learn it when he goes up against a Elyiss Williams at freaking Georgia during spring ball, right? So
somebody asked Jackson Hawes at the combine, he's like, what do you like about blocking? He's like, I want to put my chin or my face mask through a dude's chin. That's how you get it done in the other direction right there.
Yep, absolutely. But good. I love that too.
Yeah.
Find the next guy. Boom. Find the next guy. Knock him down too.
He is a finisher.
I like that. I love it. So like, again, we've reiterated that the technique is not there. He's raw, but the want to is there. The want-to is 100% there and very apparent. I mean, look at this. Displaces him, goes and gets the next guy. And you might think he whiffed just because he's chasing him. This guy has to come out wider. And because he comes out wider.
Like a corner. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's huge. And this guy's coming full speed and he's chopping down. But now this guy is pushing more towards the sideline. So now look at this tunnel.
The flexibility to get across. Get the hips across like that. He basically 180 from one guy to the other guy. Like that's serious athleticism right there. Regardless of what even happened on the play, that's legit athleticism.
He plays basketball for sure. All right, and then talk about the faking the blocking. So now they're having to honor him. He comes down. Look, he actually takes a good step when he's running a route.
We talk about it like we talk about his blocking technique, and it's raw for a college player. Like it's for a high school kid, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's gonna get way better, but like
Oh yeah,
there are way, way, way worse blockers. Like from even like big kids, especially like this, are just used to just like running into a kid and just knocking him over. Like he obviously works with his hands. He understands how to lift and drive. It's just some of the timing stuff and like getting
yeah.
coordinated in that big frame. Like he's better than a lot of these kids are, which is again
He's
why
worked this
part of why I think he's gonna be an elite blocker.
right, and he's worked the sled before. He's
Yeah. Oh
shown some
yeah.
sled traits. Now watch this route, Max. This guy's on his outside and he wants to get inside, so he pushes him outside and then kind of whips him in. I mean, this dude holds on to him,
That's insane. That's insane. He uses his left arm to just like
slingshots him, and then terrible pass for the quarterback. I don't
like
know
you
how he
can't
doesn't
call
fight
that
that quarterback.
offensive pass interference.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
what they threw.
that's
That
crazy.
was
That's insane.
I thoroughly enjoyed that film.
Yeah,
Obviously, a lot
yeah,
of
that's
blocking at the
easy.
end.
Trying to
So
think of who
he
like a really like tall, like Darnell Washington's the obvious comparison, but like I just think he's smoother and more athletic than that. And I don't think he's going to be that heavy. So like he's
well, he kind of reminds me of is this is going to take me back. Texas Tech, Amos. I think from about 10 years ago, ended up getting drafted by the Jets. What was Amos's first name?
Jason Morrow.
Jason Morrow. Jason Morrow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the until this year he was the leader for all-time single season leader for tight end yards in a season.
Yes, I mean, and it kind of reminds me of him.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think
because
of
the
some.
frame, right? Yeah, no, that's a good pull.
Yeah, maybe. Who's another big time? Oh, who was the good tight end for Oklahoma years back? Ended up playing a lot of receiver, and then came in and played tight end in the NFL. That's what he reminds me of. The old Oklahoma guy, wore number 80.
Oh, Jermaine Gresham.
Jermaine Gresham. Thank you, Max. You're saving me right now. Jermaine Gresham. That is
Well, part of that is being a Bengals guy too.
yeah.
That one helps. But
Jermaine
yeah, no,
Gresham is probably my pro comp to him and who he was, but especially who Jermaine Gresham was at Oklahoma. I think they're very, very similar in how they're built. I don't want to compare him to Aaron Hernandez, but I think they are kind of built the same. But nobody wants to be compared to Aaron Hernandez. So we can't do that.
Hernandez is tiny. He was like 6'2", 245.
That's true. Well, he was bulky. He was thick. I didn't realize he was that short.
Yeah, he was
Played big.
like
So, but this guy has the frame. I mean, when you look at him, he's got big shoulders. He's got bigger hips. It's not like he's not going to be able to come put weight on and still have that athleticism. A lot of guys,
right.
you worry
He's
when they come and put some weight on that they're not going to be able to move. I think this guy's going to be able to get bigger. Yeah, I think 250, 260 coming out, he's going to be great. Reminds me, I mean, if you go to Clemson, it reminds me of a Jordan Leggett who played that tight end wide receiver hybrid out of Navarro, awesome. Florida. Comes up to Clemson, put some weight on. I think Jordan ended up leaving Clemson at 260 and was a serviceable blocker. I mean, you had to respect him when he was in the blocking game at that point. But a guy that took a little bit of time, very refined as a pass catcher, very good route runner early on. So I think Elyiss Williams
a weapon in the schemes for those teams, like especially when you had to honor those dudes on the outside and you had to honor Hunter Renfrow in the slot too. Like they were all clearing so much space in the second level for him. He was a nice player.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at Georgia's schedule. They got Marshall. They got Austin Peay. I would not doubt to see Elyiss Williams in those first two games to see what he's got.
Yeah,
and then
we'll see. They're going to want to put weight on him. Like they're gonna want to put a lot of weight on. We'll see. I mean, you can easily put on some serious weight in the offseason. So if he gets up to like 245, 250 by the start of the year, we could definitely see him play some substantial snaps in there. The path to the field, like because of that, which is going to take some time. He's going to have to, get used to being in that new body as well. And the fact that like they have the best tight end duo in the country next year, as per usual.
I think Oscar Delp is still there, right?
He's back, and Lawson Lucky is still there, and I've been really impressed with him. I think he needs to put on a little bit more weight. He's still like that 6'3", 240, which is just a little short of, and this is more of a draft opinion as somebody who's going to be eligible next year. But his quickness, his feel for space, like he's just like he reminds me a lot of Sam Laporta. I think I think he's like a legitimate dude.
Well,
So
and I
it's
think Ben
it does
Urisek's
feel
a
like
guy
that.
too. Sorry, I
Nah,
cut
he's
you
gone.
off.
He's gone.
Ben Urisek's gone. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He's going to the draft this year, but still, it's like they got those two dudes, and so it's going to be, and I'm sure they got somebody else in there too.
yeah, it's a deep room. But if you have the opportunity to learn from Oscar Delp, you can't go wrong with that. That's a guy that played with
Right.
Brock Bowers, played with Ben
Yeah.
Urasek, played with some guys who know how to play the position. So he's getting put into a good
Delp's
situation.
nice. He's so good.
Yeah,
I think he's like an elite. I think he's. I don't know about it. I don't know. He's not. I don't think he's like going to be like a first round guy, but like I could easily see him like a second or third round guy. Like he's a great blocker. Yeah. He's got a great frame. He's a sick athlete, really smooth.
Yeah, he's gonna be really, really good in the NFL. He's not the same pass catcher Brock Bowers is, but I think he's more of a complete player than Brock Bowers was, if that makes any sense. I'm not Brock Bowers, but
Brock Bowers is like if we're being honest, he's like 80% of a receiver. He's good, really good receiver, but like the guy I compared him to coming out was Puka Nacua, not like any tight end. I just compared him to like that move F who, blocks on your linebackers and safeties, digs out support, works the middle of the field in the seams, but is able to flex out to the outside and win on in-breakers, be a yak guy, like be a true wide receiver a lot of the time, which he is. So it's just hard to even compare him, just because like he's a wide receiver more or less who can do some tight end things.
Brock Bowers is a wide receiver stuck in a tight end's body. Oscar Delp is a tight end in a tight end's body.
Yeah, exactly. And the good thing for Williams is that like he's knowing, the kind of kid that he is, like as far as like how he feels about Georgia football. He's been like you said, he's been committed for 2 years. I can't imagine he's going to have any issue going in there, waiting a year, developing, and learning from those guys, learning from, Brock Bowers or Darnell Washington, if they're ever around the program, which I hope they would be. I don't
want, no, keep him away. I don't want Georgia being successful. Keep him away.
They're not on the LSU schedule next year.
Oh, so you're good.
Yeah, we're good. But like Darnell Washington gave us nightmares in that SEC title game a couple years ago. So like, it's him and Bowers were just wrecking shop that whole game. And Lab McConkey, that was not fair. No wonder they won 2 straight national titles. It's ridiculous.
And then just to make sure everybody knows, everyone who assumes Lab McConkey is a walk-on just because he's a white receiver who is really good, he was a 4-star guy. So
yeah, he's blue chip. Yeah,
he's not. He was not a nobody.
His dad played in the NFL.
I know, great. I mean, just freaking athletic pedigree, and then he's doing fine in the NFL. So, Max, thank you for coming on the show. I had a great time breaking down this stuff with you. I look forward to doing some more stuff with you in the future. If you'll come on the show.
This was awesome.
You've now been a guest on Walk On Red Shirts, so you got to do it again.
Got it.
Again, check him out at Max Toscano FB on YouTube or Max Toscano 1 at Twitter. I'm telling you, he puts out some phenomenal stuff, phenomenal threads. The guy knows ball. Read about it. We're in the college football drought. Read stuff like this. Keep yourself informed. Then you can be the guy who says, well, actually, when you get to August and you're talking ball with people. But again, Max, I appreciate it. Elyiss Williams, phenomenal tight end. Can't wait to see you in the league.